तुम सैया गुलाब के फूल, हुई क्या हमसे भूल। तुम सैया गुलाब के फूल, हुई क्या हमसे भूल। जो हमको छोड़ चले, क्यों नाता तोड़ चले। हो सैया मन में करो न पिया इतना विचार, मीठी मीठी लागे प्यार में तकरार। तुम रूठो पिया रूठो, चाहे रूठो हजारों बार, मनाऊं दिलदार। क्यों नजरें मोड़ चले, क्यों नाता तोड़ चले। तुम सैया गुलाब के फूल, हुई क्या हमसे भूल। जो हमको छोड़ चले, क्यों नाता तोड़ चले। हुए सैया तुम सैया गुलाब के फूल, हुई क्या हमसे भूल। जो हमको छोड़ चले, क्यों नाता तोड़ चले। तुम सैया गुलाब के फूल, हुई क्या हमसे भूल। जो हमको छोड़ चले, क्यों नाता तोड़ चले।
Hindi film music. Oh no! Yes, I used to say that even though I did not feel like saying it. It was and still is fashionable among classical valas to frown on Hindi film music. I was not allowed to see many movies. But as human beings, we cannot close our ears, unlike donkeys. And the air was always resounding with film songs. Radio Ceylon, Goa, our radio stations, and of course the loudspeakers in all festivals ensured a compulsory diet of film music. Slowly I realized I was humming many songs, often with incorrect texts. Mostly the meaning of the song was lost on me, but the melody was not. Anyway, how many musicians care for meaning of the songs even today? Very often they do not know the full text. On the rare occasion they happen to know the text, they are hardly attentive to the literary value of the texts. And when they do try to see the literary significance, it is so cliché that it is as if it is not there. Hindi film songs, which virtually showered music, were melodious. The simplest definition of melody is, you feel you can hum it on listening to it. Your listeners, of course, may feel that you should not have heard it in the first place. An easy, apparent hummability is sufficient for a melody. What Oscar Wilde said about beauty can, with slight change, be repeated about melody. Melody is greater than music because it needs no explanation. And so I heard them all, indiscriminately, intensely, and somewhat jealously. In 3.5 minutes, film songs could achieve what took art musicians 3.5 hours. Appeal, a haunting quality, wide and easy reach, accessibility, variety of voices, tonal color, and what not. So began an admiration phase in my life. I did not even feel the need to see a film to appreciate these songs. So self-contained were they. Yes, they created a parallel universe. The heard universe and the heard seen universe were thus two options available to Hindi film audiences. Through necessity, many, like me, opted for the first choice, and they gained, because singing was many times truer than acting in those films. C. Ramchandra, Naushad, Khemchand, Madan Mohan, S.D. Burman, Hemant Kumar, Shankar Jayagishan, N. Datta, Sajjad, and the list ran on. And of course, Lata, Rafi, Mukesh, Talat, Geeta Dutt, Kishore Kumar, Asha Bhosle. Unfortunately, the voice list was however shorter, as the producers and directors, and then music directors, progressively lost the faculty of distinguishing between timbers and timbers. As the ancient musicological text Naradiya Shiksha said while commenting on who liked what, Those remaining others appreciate high pitch. On one occasion, late Mr. Vamanrao Deshpande, the well-known musicologist, C. Ramchandra, and I were participating in a seminar on film music organized by the government of Maharashtra in Dhulia. C. Ramchandra soon got tired of talking. In the evening, he took me aside. From his hip pocket, he took out a handy bottle of absinthe, took a sip, offered me a share of that bliss, and regretted at my inability to do so. Then he began singing and humming and explaining how he composed his casual-sounding melodies. He told me how the famous Ye Zindagi Usi Ki Hai from Anarkali was based on the old Marathi stage song Murtimant Bhiti Ubhi. He sang Ae Mere Watan Ke Logo and demonstrated how he had composed every moving nuance of that song, which made Pandit Nehru weep at the Brabant Stadium. He claimed pioneering work in bringing Western rhythms in Hindi film music. C. Ramchandra argued that he used the ever-present Khemta Theka in Hindi film songs more creatively than others. He elaborated how he thought of introducing the Western rock in Hindi songs and yet keeping music in Indian character. After a while, his tone turned bitter. He complained that writers and music never paid attention to film composers and their contribution. We do so much creative work, we reach so many, we influence so many, we bring together India and Indians. And yet you people never take us seriously, he added in an accusing tone. I kept silent for two reasons. Firstly, because the outburst took me by surprise. I never thought that filmwalas secretly craved or cared so much for white-collared appreciation. And secondly, because there was and is some truth in his attack. Music thinkers in India hardly appear to know that there is music beyond Rag, Tal, Khayal, Gharana. We became friends then. He began calling me Ramdas, ostensibly on account of my overt abstinence, and I reciprocated by calling him Swami Ranganath. The latter was Ramdas's contemporary and a Rajayogi, that is, one who, in spite of his apparent luxurious life, was an ascetic. Once at a party, C. Ramchandra looked downcast. I asked him the reason for his uncharacteristic sad mien. He confided, "Doctors have prescribed a no-drinks regime for me." What could Ranade do but mumble some consoling words and express agreement with his view that these doctors are very often unsympathetic? After a few months, we met again, and he was his old smiling self. Without waiting for my question, he said, "Oh Ramdas, they have cleared beer."
मोहब्बत ऐसी धड़कन है जो समझाई नहीं जाती, जो समझाई नहीं जाती। मोहब्बत ऐसी धड़कन है। चले आओ, तकाज़ा है निगाहों का। चले आओ, तकाज़ा है निगाहों का, तकाज़ा है निगाहों का। किसी की आरज़ू ऐसे तो ठुकराई नहीं जाती, तो ठुकराई नहीं जाती। मोहब्बत ऐसी धड़कन है जो समझाई नहीं जाती, जो समझाई नहीं जाती। मोहब्बत ऐसी धड़कन है। मेरे दिल ने बिछाए हैं ये सजदे आज राहों में। मेरे दिल ने बिछाए सजदे आज राहों में, ये सजदे आज राहों में। जो हालत आशिकी की है वो बतलाई नहीं जाती, वो बतलाई नहीं जाती। मोहब्बत ऐसी धड़कन है जो समझाई नहीं जाती, जो समझाई नहीं जाती। ज़बां पर दिल की बेचैनी कभी लाई नहीं जाती, कभी लाई